Nobody wins when the family feels.
WDS, I'ma slime and get rich. WDS, we provide a go bin. Banging on block when I peel my gins. Going to house with his pigs. Big WD, I be using my feet. Clutch on the back with that 300B. Y'all working that Drake, he'll get on one knee. I done ran through they rip me, leaking Lil Z. Be a car full of vests, everybody got beat. I was working that switch, I be working that P. Still kicking my door, give a fuck if they read.
I'm Chief Ronald Tarpley, Chief of Police for the City of District Heights. Tarpley spelled T as in Tom, A-R, P as in Paul, L-E-Y. With me, I'm joined by Mayor Cynthia Miller and our Vice Mayor Xander Harcourt. At approximately 1:50 this afternoon, officers responded to the 6600 block of Atwood Street for a report of a shooting. It is confirmed that 3 people have been shot, 2 adults, and 1 teenager.
Update on that deadly shooting in Southeast that we've been covering since our noon hour. Thank you for joining us. I'm Scott Thuman.
And I'm Victoria Sanchez. We know right now that 2 people were killed and 2 others hurt, including a 2-year-old girl on a walk with her daycare group.
One homicide here in the District of Columbia is too many. And I'm telling you, we are sick and tired of this.
Growing up in D.C. or the DMV area, it's a high chance you grew up listening to go-go. Hearing your neighborhood you grew up in being shouted out mid-performance. Now don't get me wrong, even back then you had different people from different neighborhoods chilling with each other. My generation had groups who hang with each other during the go-go's and made names just for that group. And in some cases that made people feel better, like they had people they can trust while in a one-way in, one-way out environment. And that tradition took place for many generations to come. Fast forward to 2024, not so much. Some say now go-go's are obsolete, unless it's for the grown and sexy, because of the violence that come with it. Being hard to get a venue to actually approve the go-go. You wouldn't recognize it. And just like the go-go's, you can say that for the neighborhoods in the DMV area. You wouldn't recognize it past this generation. You see, that neighborhood that the go-go used to shout out, that was just the neighborhood you grew up in, or you was born and raised. Nothing more, nothing less. But nowadays, in the DMV area, they're not going by neighborhoods. They're going by alleged gangs that they formed through alliances through other neighborhoods. While according to authorities, for the sole purpose to go against their enemies and the ones they cool with. And in return, in most cases, some would say the blind leading the blind. Because then you get cases like we got today. Kids with a good home don't even live in these neighborhoods, coming to the trenches to do drills, murders, and attempts. In some cases, broad daylight. Not knowing in DC, they got a camera on almost every corner. But then again, how would you know? You're not even from there. But then you also want to be a rapper and talk about these drills on a song, because now you feel qualified. Turns out that one song you did is a part of your indictment. And not to mention, you know they gotta go online, fam. Give clues. And in this case to 13 viewers. That was also in your indictment. And them tweets you made on a platform now called X with less than 30 followers, the police managed to get a hold of that too. And that's in your indictment as well. But all along you thought it was cool. But by the time you sit behind them walls, you realize you was played too. You put your life on the line for a neighborhood and an older crew who don't even really own nothing and sent you to crash out. But like we just said, fam, the blind leading the blind. By the way, that move the older dude put you on, that's the reason y'all got caught. The firearms you using, you posted them. And the fit you did a drill in, the same fit you taking pictures in. But it get worse. According to your affidavit, the gun you was caught with got ties to 10 shootings in 4 years, with one of them being for 3 murders in 1 day. Also shooting a 2-year-old who was at daycare. Shooting more innocent little girls than your alleged target. But that's what we got here today, family. 2 groups. They got many hoods, allegedly connected according to this 50-plus page affidavit we're about to go over. A sad case of following the wrong people just to fit in. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle, I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. Some say going on a drill is a priority to be a rapper. But when you think about it, that's probably why it's called drill rap, at least according to these rappers. There's been some unsolved cases in DC and Maryland that recently got closure after a recent arrest. It's a neighborhood in Southeast DC located on Stanton Terrace and Bruce Place, also known as Henson Ridge or the Z, that's allegedly affiliated with neighborhoods and crews called GBY, Get Back Gang, and YGA, Youngest Get Active. And he also closely aligned with the neighborhood crew from Maryland, Walker Mill, also known as WDS, walk down steppers. Now, a person identified in this affidavit as Subject 1 is an 18-year-old aspiring rapper who go by the name of Marcus Middleton Jr., who's also affiliated with the neighborhood WDS, walk down steppers, in Walker Mill, Maryland. Now, Marcus lived in Clinton and went to a nice high school in Maryland called Wise, but he was also an aspiring rapper, as we mentioned, and had a thrill for being in the streets. His rap stage name was Ackwick, and those who close to Marquise would call him Keese. Now, Marquise had a couple songs on YouTube. One had a video. It was a track titled G30, with only 13,000 views and counting, where he mentioned some clues that would later help him get indicted. Quote, "I come with that switch, I come with that Drake, I come in your spot, I sit with you late. I caught 2 on the day, I was working at Drake, and 2 men walking got hit in his face.
Every day I be using my feet, clutching the back with that 300B. Y'all working at Drake, he'll get on one knee. I done ran through they rip me, leaking Lil Z. Be a car full of vests, everybody got beat. I was working that switch, I be working that P. Still kicking my door, give a
Now, the person affidavit we looking at is a 25-year-old man who go by the name Andre Greene. And according to authorities, the other perpetrators in this affidavit was his youngest. Now, Andre and Marquise alleged opposition. According to Andre affidavit, his neighborhoods like 23rd Street and Savannah Terrace, which is a southeast neighborhood in Washington, D.C., which is also where the shooting occurred, we'll later discuss. 23rd and Savannah also called a self-chase down gang. Andre and Marquise also allegedly had beef with the neighborhood located on 3500 Stanton Road, southeast, known as Parkland, also known as Trap Flavor or Mob Ties. They also had beef with a crew on the 22nd Street of Southeast, known as Deuce Deuce. And according to this affidavit, it led to shootings, murders, and diss songs over the past 2 years. Now, in this video, we are focused on the latest shooting that Andre and Marquise and 2 other people who haven't been identified was allegedly involved in, according to Andre affidavit. A shooting that took place July 18th, 2024, a summer morning in southeast Washington, D.C. Broad daylight, 40 minutes before noon. Members of the Metropolitan Police Department, 7th District, were in the area of 23rd and Alabama Avenue, southeast, when they heard the sound of gunshots. Officers responded to a shopping center located on the 2200 block of Alabama Avenue, southeast, where they located 4 victims suffering from gunshot wounds. 3 men and a 2-year-old girl who was at daycare during their routine walk. 2 of the men died, with 1 being shot in the head, later identified as Lamont Street, 29 years old, and Jermaine Proctor, 50 years old. May they both rest in peace, and love and condolences to their families. Now, apparently, the 2 men that lost their life were chilling in the parking lot with over 10 people. The other man that was shot was walking from work.
Update on that deadly shooting in Southeast that we've been covering since our noon hour. Thank you for joining us. I'm Scott Thuman.
And I'm Victoria Sanchez. We know right now that 2 people were killed and 2 others hurt, including a 2-year-old girl on a walk with her daycare group. Police are still looking for multiple suspects.
Our Tom Rousey has been on this story all afternoon. And Tom, you spoke with the toddler's grandmother.
Yeah, Scott and Victoria, she tells me she's in intensive care right now. She's asking the whole community to pray for this little 2-year-old girl named Emily. Emily was with other children getting ready to go for a walk. They were from a daycare that's right behind me here in the Alabama Plaza Shopping Center. Well, as they're getting ready to go for a morning walk, according to police, there's guys who pull up in a car on Alabama Avenue here, get out, and they just open fire. Before it was all said and done, 2 men were dead, another man was hit, and little Emily was hit as well. The child's grandmother shared these pictures of 2-year-old Emily, who she says was getting ready to go for a walk with other children and employees at her daycare when gunfire erupted nearby and Emily was hit. Police expect the 2-year-old to survive.
1 homicide here in the District of Columbia is too many. And I'm telling you, we are sick and tired of this.
A visibly angry Police Chief Pamela Smith said the children were about to be taken on a normal morning walk when 3 people got out of this car and began opening fire. 2 men were killed and another man was hit, as was 2-year-old Emily. We spoke with one woman who says she's related to one of the men who was killed.
They say he got the shot for nothing, because he ain't do nothing.
The local ANC chair says police were sitting at Alabama Plaza a lot until suddenly stopping doing so recently.
It seems like when the cruisers are not sitting there, it seems like the violence in that in that little vicinity ramps right back up.
He says he got a concealed carry permit because of all the violence around here, but he still doesn't feel safe.
Because having a concealed carry, you still have, you just never know. Walking through a community, you can be an innocent, not expecting anything to happen.
One mother tells us she tries to keep her 9-year-old son inside constantly.
He's inside on his computer or the stupid tablet or that stupid laptop or whatever, on those stupid social media TikTok sites and all that other stuff. But you know what? It's fine because he's not out here getting shot.
The grandmother of 2-year-old Emily asked the entire community to pray for the child's recovery. The grandmother says she just dealt with grief 2 months ago when 3-year-old Taya Settles, who she is also related to, was shot and killed very close to today's shooting. She says Taya and Emily were cousins. Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe on that one. The 2 men who were killed, they fell here in the Alabama Plaza Shopping Center behind me. The 3rd man who was hit, we are told he is expected to survive. Police believe Emily will survive as well. But again, her grandmother's saying she is in intensive care right now. Police still searching for 3 suspects. They say they believe they left in a blue Dodge Charger, which actually apparently was a different car than they arrived in. Reporting live in Southeast Washington, I'm Tom Rousey, 7.
According to Andre recent affidavit, while on surveillance, he was seen plotting with the alleged suspects according to authorities, calling his youngest on camera, gearing up to do the shooting. An hour before the shooting, at around 10:30 a.m., surveillance captured 2 suspects walking in front of 7th District Police Station, located on Stanton Road and Alabama Avenue in Southeast D.C., which is a block away from where the shooting occurred. Now here's footage of the suspects walking eastbound on the 1700 block of Alabama Avenue Southeast towards the 1700 block of Stanton Terrace, which is also in Southeast. Now here's when police, according to Andre affidavit, knew Marquise was the driver of the homicide vehicle. A neighborhood ring camera captured 2 of the suspects in a much closer view, which also helped point out the shoes he had on and matched the Draco from the shooting almost an hour later. Now 30 minutes before the shooting, police get a camera footage from an alley on the 1800 block of Alabama Avenue in Southeast, and you see 3 suspects talking together. A camera labeled side storage showed a blue Dodge Charger pull in the alley and stop adjacent from suspect 1, suspect 2, and suspect 3. The suspects were seen getting inside the vehicle. The blue Dodge Charger supposed to be Andre's Charger. And at 10:56, the blue Dodge Charger briefly pulled off before backing into the driveway of a residence located on the 1800 block of Alabama Avenue Southeast. That's when suspect 4 walked out and went into the driver's rear side of the vehicle. The blue Dodge then pulled off and went southbound out the alley, headed towards the 1700 block of Stanton Terrace Southeast. It then made a right on the 3200 block of Stanton Road. At 11 o'clock, a ring camera located on the 1400 block of Congress Place captured a blue Dodge Charger traveling northbound on the 1400 block of Congress Place in Southeast. Moments later, surveillance camera on the 1400 block of Congress Place Southeast had captured the homicide vehicle, a white sedan, briefly moving before stop on the 1400 block of Congress Place. And at this point, that's 20 minutes before the murder inside the parking lot. 4 minutes later, at 11:04, MPD crime cameras located on Savannah Place had captured the homicide vehicle as it drove past the offense location. From 11:05 to 11:17, the homicide vehicle nor the blue Dodge Charger were captured on surveillance footage. However, MPD crime cameras located on the 21st Street of Bruce Place captured the following events before and after the homicide. At 11:17, a blue Dodge Charger pulled up and parked on 21st and Bruce Place. That appears to be the same blue Dodge Charger that initially picked up the suspects and is believed to have dropped them off at the homicide vehicle, which was only a block away from the offense location. An MPD crime camera located on Alabama Avenue in Stanton Terrace Southeast captured the following events. At 11:19, the homicide vehicle was observed traveling northbound before making a right on the 1800 block of Alabama Avenue. At 11:20, the homicide vehicle was observed traveling eastbound on the 1800 block of Savannah Place. The homicide vehicle headed towards the 3200 block of 22nd Street, Southeast. The homicide vehicle then goes out of sight. Moments later, the sound of multiple rounds of gunshots are heard. MPD crime camera located on Savannah Place had captured the homicide vehicle making a stop at the crosswalk of Savannah Place. the right passenger side door and the rear driver's side door had opened. At 11:21, suspect 1 stopped firing his assault rifle, placed it down to his right side, and transitioned to a semi-automatic pistol that was in his right waistband. Suspect 1 pointed his handgun in the direction of east of the sidewalk and discharged the weapon towards the victim. At 11:21, a surveillance camera on the 2200 block of Alabama Avenue had captured the witness 1 and witness 2 walking small children and pushing victim 1, who happens to be the 2-year-old girl, alongside 5 other toddlers on the corner of Alabama Avenue. As mentioned, they was in daycare. Witness 1 and witness 2 say when the gunshots rang out, they were able to get victim 1 and the other children to safety, but ultimately, victim 1 was struck by gunfire. Thank God she survived. At 11:21, the murder vehicle was seen fleeing the scene. The blue Dodge Charger was observed pulling off the corner of Bruce Place Southeast and proceeding westbound on the 2100 block of Alabama Avenue Southeast and going out of sight of surveillance camera. It should be noted that the blue Dodge Charger pulled off directly after the shooting had occurred. At 11:22, the Dodge Charger was going fast on 18th Street, but this time police was able to get a clear image of the tag number. At 11:22, the blue Dodge Charger made a U-turn on the 1700 block of Alabama Avenue and then made a left turn and began following the homicide vehicle northbound on the 1700 block of Stanton Terrace before going out of sight of the surveillance camera. Moments later, the blue Dodge Charger backed and parked in the same driveway to the residence where it picked up the suspects before committing the homicide. All 4 suspects exited the blue Dodge Charger and appeared to walk into the residence associated with the driveway. Now at this point we know Andre is subject 3, and they have footage of his car in front of his home hours later on the 5100 block of 8th Street. The morning of the shooting, Andre attempts to go to work with the same temp tags in the front of his car through the security checkpoint, which is on camera. But immediately, Andre makes a U-turn and don't check in at around 9:57 a.m. But 30 minutes after the shooting, Andre was seen walking around his job on camera. But then at 12:06, he leaves back with his car parked on the end of his employment and his car time saying he's checked in. But by this time, Andre's car was all over the news and social media. 2 hours later, 6th District received a call regarding Andre's blue Dodge Charger parked in the driveway of a residence located on the 1200 block of 48th Street in Northeast. The caller provided Merlin temporary tags for that vehicle which matched the surveillance. But by that time, members of the Metropolitan Police Department had arrived at the location. The vehicle had left the area. But 30 minutes later, at around 2:30 p.m., Prince George's County Police had received a call that a blue Dodge Charger was in flames in College Park, Maryland. Turns out it was Andre's car. 45 minutes later, Andre was shown up back at his job, clocked out at 3:15. The next day, officers went by the neighborhood of Henson Ridge and came in contact with Andre and Subject 3, which is located on Bruce Place in Southeast. Subject 3 had on the same black and gray jacket and Crocs from the scene of the shooting. A couple weeks later, on July 24, 2024, police came to the conclusion that Subject 1 was Marquise. They compared his Instagram Live with 13 views to the Ring doorbell footage with his hoodie on. They also compared his Balenciaga shoes in his pictures, as well as a book bag in his pictures that matched the shoes and book bag of the scene. They also found this Twitter account, now known as X, with less than 30 followers that had pictures of him holding the alleged murder weapons inside a local hotel bathroom. They also saw a post he made just last month on August 1st, 2024. Little did Marquise know that would be his last post on social media. He played a song that we mentioned at the beginning of this video with his verse, with the caption, "I know why they mad. Hashtag, long live him. Hashtag, if I'm lying, I'm flying." Now here are some pictures of the firearms that was recovered. These firearms was linked to 15 shootings in 4 years, with the 10 being contact shootings in the DMV area.
Brought you last night, police have made an arrest in the shooting that killed 2 men and severely injured a 2-year-old little girl this summer. Our Rafael Sanchez Cruz dug into court documents that are providing more insight into what investigators believe prompted that shooting and how they were able to track one of the suspects down using surveillance cameras and social media. Right, Rafa?
That's right, Lorenzo. Prosecutors say Andre Greene was the driver helping the shooters that opened fire, but there's no evidence that he actually fired a gun. They also say Greene is associated with at least 2 D.C. street gangs. Screenshots from surveillance video show the moment the two shooters stepped out of this white car and opened fire at the intersection of Alabama Avenue and 22nd Street Southeast on July 18th. 2 men were killed, Lamont Street and Jermaine Proctor, a third was injured. At the top left corner of your screen, you see the 2 daycare educators and 6 children who got caught up in the crossfire. 2-year-old Emily was shot in the stomach and arm. Her grandmother says the toddler is still dealing with the trauma.
She has tremors or she have like just shakes or just stirs at times. But overall, she's still here.
Court documents identify at least 4 suspects involved in the deadly shooting. One of them, 25-year-old Andre Greene.
Greene was charged pursuant to a D.C. Superior Court arrest warrant with first-degree murder while armed for his role in this shooting. We would like to thank our community for their assistance with this case. We know that the brazenness of the suspects in this case shocked the community.
Court documents say Greene was bragging about the shooting at work. D.C. police released this photo of a blue Charger involved in the shooting. Investigators say the car belongs to Greene, seen here driving it. Hours after police released these photos, the Charger was found engulfed in flames underneath a bridge in College Park, according to court documents.
I know there will be more arrests, and I'm asking them to turn yourself in, and I forgive you. You believe it or not, I've been forgave you.
Yeah, Greene is being held without bond tonight. Court documents also identify a local rapper as one of the shooters. Investigators say the rapper not only posted photos on social media with what they believe to be the guns used in this July shooting, but he also posted a rap claiming to shoot 2 men in the face. It's still unclear why the 2 men who died were targeted in this fatal incident, Lorenzo.
Yeah, we're still thinking of those families and also 2-year-old little Emily tonight. Hopefully they'll find those other suspects soon.
Another sad story and harsh reality that it's almost impossible to get away with a crazy crime like this in broad daylight. And on top of that, it seemed like it was well planned. Just not gonna get away. Now, as we wrap this video up, nonetheless, we send love and prayers to every victim we talked about in this story and to their families. As they say, the blind leading the blind. Fam, this was the story of a man recently being indicted for orchestrating a hit with his youngest. Not even pulling the trigger, but he was around it. 7 years older than the people he had allegedly with him. Let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one.